Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. And this is from director Ian Samuels and from writer Lev Grossman, who wrote the short story that this film was adapted to with his script starring Katherine Newton and Kyle Allen. And this film starts off and you're following this young man played by Kyle Allen through his morning. He wakes up, his mom's driving off to work, he misses his mom, his sisters making fun of him, his dad really wants to talk about his Civil War novel that he's writing, played by Josh Hamilton, who's also the father in 8th grade, and you follow this young man, played by Allen, through his morning, and Samuels does a really nice job of keeping this camera with these long tracking shots, and you're following him. He's doing all these weird things, and you're just sitting there like, this kid's a little, like, overstepping his bounds in terms of, like, how he's interacting with people. Like, he's riding his bike down the street and literally just, like, grabs the phone out of his kid driving his car, texting like this, and just chucks it in the back seat. And he's doing all these different kinds of things, and you start to wonder, it's like, this kid seems like he knows what's up. And then you start to realize that it's because he's lived this day. And it's interesting because this takes the same approach as Palm Springs, where it's like Andy Samberg at the start of the film has already lived so many days. And now you're in this situation where you have Kyle Allen's character. He has lived many, many days at this point. And he keeps trying to do these things. He keeps trying to catch this girl, like this Asian girl, and get her attention. He tries to block her from falling into a pool. And then all of a sudden, one day, a young woman, played by Katherine Newton, walks right by, blocks that ball. And he's like, where'd she come from? He starts to follow her, starts trying to connect with her. She's stuck in the same loop. And this film has a lot in common with Palm Springs in terms of just like the pure fantasy time loop kind of situation. It's set up in the same way, has the same basic idea, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, I've seen this before. And like the first act of the film is very much like there's no tension here. It's just she's this really overly perfect, not really flawed, just cool, nerdy girl who gets all of his nerd references, but she's cool. And you're sitting there like it's the like pixie dream girl kind of thing, and you're just sitting there like, character's a little too perfect. And Katherine Newton does a really fine job of bringing some personality to this character and some charm. You can see why Kyle Allen's character really likes her. And you have this situation, and you're sitting there watching them get to know each other, making all these like nerdy references, even though both of them seem way too cool to be nerds. Coming from a nerd, growing up, like, still a nerd as an adult, yeah, it kind of feels like cool kids wrote this for nerds, trying to be nerdy. And it's like that Big Bang Theory thing where it's like, this is not for actual nerds. And it's just like, let's throw out like they want to make this map of all of like the perfect things in their town, and like they have to catch them all, just like Pokemon. And after a while, a lot of those references and like on the nose like nerd things kind of got annoying to me after a while. And they do reference some interesting things, like he references the film Time Bandits, and they wind up watching it together. And I love Time Bandits, love me some Terry Gilliam. And obviously dealing with that, like, is this reality? Is this dream kind of idea? What's going on with this situation? And of course there's an obligatory scene where they go to like a math teacher or physics teacher and who teaches algebra, and just like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about that? What about this? And you're just like, okay. You have all these different kinds of things, and then inevitably you come to the point where she kind of shoots him down because she's trying to avoid going back to her normal day-to-day life, and he starts feeling guilty that other people aren't living their lives, just stuck in this loop. Like his dad's never going to finish his book. His sister keeps reliving this failed soccer game where they lost 3-2, has to relive it every single day, and he's trying to make that unselfish thing, and then you obviously find out that there's some like traumatic reasons why she doesn't want to go back to things, and it's emotional. It hits. Alan and Newton are fine young actors, and they really sell their roles in this film. They have great chemistry, and Samuels does a fine job bringing energy to this film. It's well put together. It's well shot. There's some inspired filmmaking going on in this film, whether it's long takes, different kinds of things like that. But it does feel very derivative of a lot of things that we've already seen, especially very recently. Like, Palm Springs just came out this past summer, and I'm feeling like that did this basic idea better. There's more tension, you had some more weight to it, and you have this situation in this film, and it's just yeah, they're fun together, they're enjoyable to watch. And yeah, I could sit there for an hour and 37 odd minutes and watch these two get to know each other, even though it feels a little you got all this hipstery music and everything seems pretty chill, except finally there's some conflict here between the two of them, and it's not even that bad because they get over it pretty quickly upon just interacting with each other. But you look at this film, The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, and you just think that, okay, it's not very original, even though it's a cool original idea. It's something that we've seen before, and quite a few times at this time, and done really, really well. And here, it's done just fine. And this is a nice little film that you could sit there and stream. It has some nice humor and some fun. The cast, the two leading actors are great. You have Josh Hamilton as Alan's father, who does a really fine job. You have the supporting characters, and in the end, this film is a sweet and inoffensive, fun time that you can stream right now on Amazon Prime. But those are my thoughts on The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.